So thank you, Yoshu, for your kind introduction here. So welcome, everyone. We have a wonderful panel here, and I look forward to basically their sharing insights on the consumer retail panel with us today. And let me introduce the panel. So I will start with introducing Mr. Fushing Pang here. So Mr. Pang is a senior executive turned independent coach and consultant after many years of successful corporate career in Fortune 500 companies. With hands-on experience in China since 1986, he typically assists clients on real issues and challenges in China with insightful perspectives and action-oriented approach, besides issue analysis. He has relevant experience as an independent China business coach and senior advisor at Booz China, as general manager for the medical device business and Asia Pacific managing director for the scientific instrument business at HP China, as senior vice president for strategy and M&A at TNT China, and as a board member in HP's and TNT's various joint ventures. Mr. Pang received an MBA at the University of Chicago and MS in chemical engineering at the University of Illinois. Thank you. With that, I think that, do I introduce all the panelists? Yeah, so if I can give the floor to you to talk. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for the wonderful introduction. My name is Fushing Pang, and I came from Shanghai. It is really happy to be here. It reminds me of my own days since I got my MBA many, many years ago from an institution in the Midwest. I didn't get to come here. Then I took on a job of international marketing in a company in California and started the journey. In 1986, when China was just opened up, Hewlett-Packard Company, actually under the government support or recommendation by Mr. Henry Kissinger, they decided to go to China to form a business. And there was a high uncertainty, but they decided to go, and I was one of the starting up members. And since then, things have moved forward very rapidly and very quickly. And I'm sure many of you will embark on journeys in this country and in Asia, perhaps, or the combination of. And I think with the Asia's economy right now being very strong and robust, I think you have a bright future ahead of you. Anyway, it's my pleasure to talk here. I have prepared just a few very simple slides based on my personal experience and also some of the perspectives. Even though I had been in Asia in general for many, many places, since most of my time had been in China, I would like to prepare a few slides on on the China consumer market, very general aspects. I'm sure a lot of things you know. If you need to know more of my information, I have a website that you can go to. These are famous charts, just to draw your attention that, of course, left hand is the population comparison with the United States. The next one is the thing that people are talking about. The GDP of China will surpass United States. Before that, the last time when this kind of big thing happened was the United States taking over the world in terms of the world's leading economy. The next chart, so in 2025, people were estimating that China will become the largest economy. And the next one, talk about the retail sales in these two countries. Again, that with the rapid growth and huge population, the total retail sales volume is expected to exceed that of the United States. I want to congratulate everybody here that we are all fortunate enough to see these things happen. I think these are historical occasions and really brings back the perspective that how important this conference is about, how important the China market is, particularly after that you have spent about 2 years here in the United States in this prestigious institution, that you are in a perfect situation to, based on the knowledge here and looking into Asia and China. Well, what is China? I just have one simple slide to show you. China is a nation, China is a continent, and China comprises of 1.3 billion people of different income and live in different places. The general categories, there are 4 regions: East, Northeast, Central, and West. And just draw your attention that East is moving forward very rapidly with 480 million people and the per capita income about 6,000. But then if you look at the West and some other places, it's very different. This particular thing is very important. I think many people, when they go into China with a homogeneous expectation, they find themselves having to face the challenge of a non-homogeneous market. And but this is something you always have to remember when you do business there. With the particular product service you want to offer, you may want to choose a particular place to start in terms of income, in terms of demography, and those kind of things. The next slides I want to show you is just some simple statistics that now the Fortune 500 companies pretty much have gone to China. The next tiers are going, and I've been very much involved in helping many of the second-tier companies going into the United States. They're all facing a lot of struggles because it is a totally different environment. You can see many of the American companies, particularly I want to draw your attention, for example, like Yum, which is a mother company of KFC, and also General Motors. We used to say General Motors is America, but General Motors now, in terms of new car sales, they sell more there than over here. In terms of Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders also getting very famous, that they sell more, they have more revenue and more profit there than over here. When I was there in 1986, I wouldn't have thought about it. But given that this has happened, means these kind of things will happen in the future again. But if you think about it, there are other companies that, for example, if you look at Pepsi, there was reports recently that Pepsi is going into a partnership with a local Chinese company, exchanging for Chinese Mastercard's 9% equity versus their, and eventually selling their bottling operation to the Chinese company. Just looking at this, I think I saw all these things. I was there when the first Kentucky Fried Chicken opened. And then, of course, to people's surprise, that you know, it's Kentucky Fried Chicken, not McDonald's, the first one. But then you say, you know, where is my opportunity? But then I want to ask you, where are the other chicken franchises in China? Maybe they're not there yet. Maybe there are opportunities. So I would say, when you look at these name brands, United States also progressed from a several $1,000 per capita economy to a 40,000 per capita economy. They went through all this, and we're living in a time tunnel. You almost have to look back to look at the present. Look at back in this country, and look at the present in China, and then look into the future. So those are interesting perspectives. The next slide is even more interesting. These things, I think, for people coming from China, it's quite familiar. It's right in their face every day. But for people here, those may not be very familiar brands, but they may be coming. The interesting thing is, for example, I'm showing here some companies like Wahaha, Master Kong, Wang Wang, Li Ning, and Libby. These are not very familiar sound bites, but they are very successful companies. Look at your compound annual growth. It's phenomenal, and they know how to compete. And you see the number 2, Master Kong. Actually, they are going to take over the Pepsi's beverage business in China. And so China is a large country, and for sure, out of 1.3 billion people, there are people who are extremely smart, very business savvy. They are very worthy competitors. And it is also very important for us to recognize them because the United States, many years ago, if we came here about 15 years ago, everything is talking about the competition from Japan. And now the rumors again, they're talking a lot about competition from China. And it seems that in many situations, they seem not very prepared for this competition. What really happens in China, the competition is very important, is because I think I will not go into that later because I only have 0 minutes left with the reminder. Okay, I have 2 more slides just showing, we can talk about later, what do you need to do if you want to be successful over there in the business. I just want to emphasize here, you've seen all this, it's the business school stuff, but the later 2 channels and the right one, governments, are more prevalent in China. And then there are other things that you have to worry about. And with these, I'd like to close my remark, and hopefully that maybe we can engage in more interactive discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fushing, for your very, very insightful comments.